Good day, let's go to the chart time, but let me say one thing. I still haven't figured out what connection the US government shutdown has to the benefit of the market. In the case of Enfi as well, it doesn't really affect things that much for now. We joke that maybe Enfi's situation will get worse, but it doesn't have that much of an impact because these people haven't been fired. They're just on unpaid leave. So I need to think about it a bit more. If you have any opinions or ideas, write them for us in the comments so we can read them and see what logical conclusion we come to. Okay, it's like what I do on Fridays, but since it doesn't seem very logical to me right now, I don't really talk about it. The reason I don't mention it is because I don't see anyone else talking about it either. But if you have any ideas, write them for us so we can see what we come up with. Let's go. Let's get to our chart. But before we get to the chart, I pinned a tutorial in the comments that you should watch. It's about scenario writing. It's a continuation of this path. If you don't watch that, you'll come here and miss the continuation. Over there, I put a cross on technical time, and now I want to teach you how to use that technical time. Let's start with dominance from 59 to 21. How about we get rejected one more time? Sound good? Let me put it this way. I prefer that this break of Bitcoin ceiling happens together with an ease in dominance. Let me tell you why I prefer that. Because after that, the market needs to have enough strength so that Bitcoin can go up to a good number. Let's say, for example, it goes up to 150. We're just assuming here, if it breaks, it could go up to 150, not just to 135. Its ceiling, for instance, shouldn't just be 135. It should have a stronger upward trend. Now, if this dominance is bearish, that won't happen. So let's take a look back at the past to see if it gives us any insight. Let's see if this scenario is even possible or not. All right, let's bring up Bitcoin itself. In this time frame, it would be December 2020. Where is December 2020? That would be located right here in December of 2019, and then December of 2020 would be positioned right here. From this point, we progressively moved downward in our trajectory until we reached April and then continued further until March. So what exactly did you undertake or accomplish during this entire period? Based on this, according to the market's past, even if Bitcoin's dominance doesn't go up, it's still possible. It just showed us that. I'm not saying these events are definitely going to happen. It just showed us that possibility. Even if our dominance is dropping somewhere, our Bitcoin can still go up. Why did I say it like this, and why did I explain it this way? It's very important, especially in analysis, that we don't be conditional. There is no absolute black or white. Right now, if I wanted, I could have shown you in a way that no, Bitcoin dominance absolutely has to go up for Bitcoin to rise. Don't take the views of analyst X, analyst Y, or any analyst so rigidly. Each of us is just sharing our own ideas about the market. There's no right or wrong until something actually happens, okay? So it's not necessary for Bitcoin to break higher resistances or even to reach, say, 150 or 180, that the dominance must have a strong upward trend. For example, here there was a strong upward move in dominance and it did its job, but altcoins also had a lot of issues. Later, even when dominance started ranging, we basically destroyed it in altcoins and the market. And during this range, they went up so much. So Bitcoin dominance really isn't directly related to what might happen to it. Even if it wants to move 5%, it can do so with this same declining dominance. Okay? Let's not engrave some statements in gold. They don't always hold true. Thank you for looking at this with an open mind. So does that mean if dominance goes down, it's a bad thing? No, I said my preference is for a strong breakout to happen with an increase in dominance. Why? Because then usually they give more profit, right? That's the reason. It's because more money can enter Bitcoin more easily. That's why. Why am I saying this? Let's go to the total. Let's look at the weekly chart. Not much new money has come in for us compared to the previous cycle. Now, I mean, maybe $1 or $2 billion have come in, but it's not much, not compared to the last time. So money still hasn't entered our market in this new cycle. If money is really going to come into our market, and if we're truly going to become bullish and a rally is going to happen, Let's assume that up to this point, this is a lot. Just imagine, for example, $5,650,000,000 in Bitcoin. Higher numbers for altcoins, higher numbers. I can't say for sure whether this will definitely happen or not. But if it does, and Bitcoin's dominance is on a downward trend, it's going to be fun for them. It's going to be fun for them. But for now, what exactly was it that I said I wouldn't use? I certainly can't say stuck in a dead-end alley or whatever, because how would ChatGPT even accurately translate that? But anyway, let's just try to stay focused. Right now, we're actively dealing with 4.06. If this truly breaks, that's our ultimate final boss. After that, we'll then see what new updates the game brings. This is indeed the final boss for now. Will it even get there? There's a very good chance it will, so let's see. Maybe it'll test us one more challenging time. Why isn't it at this level before 4.06? But Bitcoin is getting quite close to being tough. Because its dominance has gone up a bit, less money was needed for Bitcoin to rise, since most of that money has gone into Bitcoin. That's the reason. Now let's talk about making a profit. I'll get to Bitcoin and explain it to you there. But what I'd like to see happen with the total is that we don't drop below 3.98 and then we bounce back up. That's what I'd like to see. As for opening short positions, there's nothing to do right now. Don't open any shorts. Whenever we see a change in trend, whenever we get heavy rejections, that's when we should think about whether to take profits or not, or whether to open a new position, or maybe just wait. That should be your concern now, not rushing to open a short position. Okay, let's say tomorrow we wake up and see the total has dropped a lot. It doesn't matter. The important thing is what the market is showing us right now. You need to see if it's about to correct, and if so, how far that correction might go. What signs should you look for to say the correction is over? Or if it's correcting, should you just go in and open a position right here? These should be your main concerns. The scenarios you write down should be about this, because the bullish sentiment is over. It's done. That phase is finished. Total 2, guys, is at a lower level. Okay, so total is stuck at this level, 1.72. Total 2 is stuck at 1.65. Total 3 is the same. Breaking through this level is important to me, yes, but the breakout of the altcoins themselves is even more important to me. They give us positions earlier. If you didn't open a position yesterday, then you're still waiting for an entry trigger. The entry trigger is the same. Some don't have it, or BNB has an entry trigger here at 33,200. Hype is here too. After a bit of correction, it has an entry trigger. I still have Hype open. I had forgotten about that. ETH, after a bit of correction, should give us an entry trigger. SOL, FLM, after a bit of correction, should also have an entry trigger. SUI as well. But there are coins that already have an entry trigger. For example, AVAX right here, right now on the 15-minute chart. This level here could be an entry trigger. No, this is currently considered fake. 38.5 could become an entry trigger. On the other hand, APT gave a trigger. The low risk one was activated. It went up. Here, the shape doesn't matter. It's not important. We're waiting for another entry trigger. This is the weekly. If it closes, even the candle itself could be an entry trigger. We can go into spot, take a risk, set a stop loss at 13 to 14%. We know how to manage our capital now. We know how to manage risk. We know the formula, how it works, so that we don't lose 0.5% of our total capital. Don't get caught up in that vibe of, oh, I missed out. Those that have already moved, let them go. Get out of those. We have plenty of coins that haven't moved yet. Sit and watch their BTC pairs, open positions. I know a lot of you are already in open positions because I can see your positions. It's really great that I can see the positions, because based on that, I can come into the analyses and say, seriously, this happened. I added a month to my life, and it's really cool. It's really cool, meaning I know right now you have open positions, and for example, whether you've taken profit or not and whether you've secured profit or not, it really helps me figure out how to analyze things for you. You ask how I can see this. Well, because you registered with Tracy Pro's own affiliate links, it shows your positions. It doesn't say who opened the position, but it shows an 8-digit number and says this one has a position. Okay. All right. When it comes to totals, I'm thinking about your freedom. Now, if you want to ask who KSR is, we've thrown out all the statistics, and instead, let's cut KSR. Just kidding. A break of 8.04 for Azadi is a confirmation for going after a long position in futures. So to put it better, a break at 8.04 and not having a wrong futures position is the best approach. This is a better way to say that at 8.33 we shouldn't be opening a position, so we can take our profit here and move on and then make our purchase in spot. USDT passed this level very sharply. So now that I said USDT passed this level very sharply, what is it going to do next? Honestly, I don't really know what this part means, but what I did myself was to be careful here, first take it into Premiere, make a cut, and then come back again. The price action observed here is indeed very nice, a significantly large candle, so it is quite likely that we will experience a bit of a trading range in this particular area, yes. It is highly probable that we will encounter a bit of a range here for some time. This could be removed. This box here is the take profit zone. Now, it might react a bit higher. As I said, when we get to Bitcoin, I'll talk to you about taking profit. Right now, the USDT doesn't give any confirmation for opening a position. No, not for now, unless it does something here, like a move down itself. It doesn't give you any confirmation. You have to look at the altcoin itself, follow it, and see if you can open a position. So they themselves won't give us any special confirmation. If we want to look at it in the big picture, what then? A downtrend, an attempt, a correction, then a single engulfing candle on the weekly. If this weekly engulfing completes, even if it goes lower, we could be looking at another wave. I'm saying even after all this time, it's still stuck here. If we want to have a bearish trend, we have to lose 3.81, and 3.8 has already been lost, which is a strange event for us in the market. But well, the old times were different. Now the market situation is such that I still don't know if this 3.8 is what we're going to lose or if it's something else. The chart will tell us. If the weekly candle gets bigger, we'll have a continuation of the wave, for example, toward around 2.80, somewhere around here. It's saying we'll have a continued wave like this. That's what the chart is telling us. But this logic doesn't let me accept it so easily. So what do I do? First of all, the chart is even more important to me than logic itself. I mean, as I said, keep that in mind. Second, no matter what position or claim I have, if we get here, if we reach this 3.80 level and I have an open position, I will definitely take heavy profits and then open a new position again. For example, I'll take profits here. Let's say, for instance, BNB reaches, I don't know, 1,450 or something like that. I'll take heavy profits here, then set new stop losses higher up with a new stop loss. And if by mistake I've taken profits and my position gets triggered, the stop loss will hit and maybe I'll lose a bit, or someone else will lose. Someone else might lose out another time. Someone else might take a loss. I definitely do this at that point, no matter what the conditions are. Why? Because honestly, I truly can't really tell. I simply cannot imagine the exact next scenario in my mind right now. Perhaps at that particular time, it will become much clearer and we can certainly help each other out. Just kidding. Maybe at that specific point, things will be more clearly defined. Okay? That state data I told you about, what's going on, let's check it with Bitcoin. These are the two positions we opened together. Here we also have one position at this level, but I removed its tools because I didn't take this level myself. I took this level and I took this level. I want to show you two very distinct differences. That with just a mere 4% or a slightly higher 4.5% difference in the initial entry point, these two particular scenarios have a substantial difference of 4 risk rewards or even potentially 5. Why exactly does this significant discrepancy happen? Really, why does this happen? Now, if we bring this down, does it change? No, it would change in a short position. Yes, but what about this? It would change in a short position. So all of these things, I've taught all of them. Why? Why are you making it complicated too? Are they saying your chart is duplicated? Let me think for a minute. To be honest, my mind isn't sharp enough right now to figure out why it's not changing. I probably need to watch the tutorial video on this topic again myself. It wouldn't make a difference in our situation. Even if we missed a good entry point, like say this was a good spot but we missed it, that was the risky move I mentioned, like, hey, let's do it here so we don't get frustrated later and end up making bigger mistakes. The difference is, for example, a risky entry at 50, and here the risk would have been 25 cents, and here the risk would have been half. Why? Because here you have an upward trend, it's already had its correction, and now it wants to go up again. So you have more confidence in the upward trend here. Whereas over there, you had a heavy downward trend, it came close to the support band, and here it formed a candle. That means the profit from this position right now is more than the profit from that position, even though the entry point for that one was lower and you entered earlier. So entering a trade position earlier doesn't always necessarily lead to a more substantial profit. What exactly did I personally do in this situation? Just yesterday, I meticulously took some significant profit at the specific level around the 1500s on this particular trading position, securing a portion of the gains. Today as well, if it doesn't come up in the 15-minute time frame, if it goes below this 101 and 402 level in the 15-minute chart, we'll close this position too. We won't hold on to it. That's how it is. I had a position on this upward wave that came up to here. I took my profit, closed it, and said goodbye to this position, not holding on to it. Now, a question comes up. What if we only have one Bitcoin position open or one altcoin position open? If you have two positions, because the dominant situation isn't clear, take 25% profit from both positions. Take 25% profit from each. Why? Just to secure some profit. Back then, for example, I would also secure profit right away, and at that time we'd move the stop to break even. But right now we haven't reached any particularly interesting spot where I could tell you to move your stop to break even. On the daily chart, there's no level for this position. There's no level you can use to adjust or move around. For example, in altcoins, there's no specific level you can set. You can only set your entry point. So in this case, we should focus on securing profit and then take on the rest of the risk. Secure 25% profit from your position unless you only have a single position, which would be difficult, right? If you only have a single position, sometimes you just have to accept that you might lose your profit. Sometimes you have to accept that you might lose your profit. Why? What difference does it make? Those guys, they usually have a higher risk tolerance and their profits become more reasonable. In a single position, if you take profit here, you definitely have to open a new position afterward. For example, at this same 19,074, you have to open a new position again. But for those who have two positions, there's no need to close their position. Here, the monthly one gives me 29 days and 20 hours, so just forget about it. What about the weekly one here? If the weekly one gives us a good move, gives us over 120 close, it will be enjoyable. We can say a new bullish trend has started if it closes here. Otherwise, at the start of the week, we'll be stuck again wondering what happened, what's going to happen. On the daily, after a big candle like this that's hit resistance head on, it could start a retracement candle. Do we care about starting a retracement candle? Meaning, should we not open a position? Not really. We should open a position, set a stop loss. In the worst case, we should open a position and set a stop. The chart here is really messy. The 4 hours all over the place. These resistances you see here aren't very precise, right? So what do? We check them with the new data in the order book. The 15-minute chart now shows 190724. We also look at the order book, or maybe we just check the order book. You see, up to 120, it's full of orders, and they're all sell orders. So what do you do in these situations? I wanted to say that in these situations, you open a position lower down so you don't get caught up in exactly this issue here. Anyway, moving past this, when there are so many orders like this, you let the candle come into it once, play around a bit, and then you follow up at the next level. If there are this many orders, the candle usually doesn't break through the area on the first try. That's it for Bitcoin. Now, about ENS domain, when this is ranging and shows a red candle, the same thing happens to it. The takeaway is that there are random altcoins that when Bitcoin is about to start ranging or even drop, might move up quickly on their own. You have to search for them, you have to spend time looking for them, go to Livecoin Watch, spend some time there. These low volume coins are moving well. Set aside a bit of your capital, take a small risk, and open a position there. And I don't mean shit coins, I mean coins that are okay, with logical projects and everything, but just have low volume for now. Maybe in a month, they'll be trending in the market and I can give you an entry on them, but right now their volume is low. I don't really touch the big altcoins, especially not Solana. AVAX hasn't moved at all, so I won't do anything there. I still have an open Link position that I'm holding on to. I have to wait for Link to stabilize. I'm really waiting for it to break 26.46. Honestly, I'm really waiting for that breakout. I've explained everything. There's really nothing left to add. Thank you so much for sticking with me up to this point in the video. To sum up, it really doesn't matter whether the ENS BTC domain is bullish or bearish for your own trading moves. Just grasp the main concept of what I'm saying. That's what's important, but it's not something where the domain always has to be in profit, or who said it has to be that way. Taking 2 or 3 profits isn't a bad idea, really. We have this FPO, and honestly, I don't know what kind of impact it's going to have after this event in the US. Oh, and I just remembered, guys, please make sure you have a stop loss in place. If you have a target in mind, definitely set it. Listen, just in case, what if, say, the internet cable gets damaged on the way to Iran and our internet goes out? You shouldn't be stressed. You know those undersea internet cables. If they get damaged, you shouldn't be without internet. I mean, you shouldn't be stressed if you lose internet. So definitely, if you don't have a stop loss, set at least 3 stop losses for yourself. Next point, Bitcoin has a trigger for entry above, but as I told you before, I think it should first test and break through the upper range, and then we can open a position. But what if it forms a bullish candle? You can open a position in altcoins right now, provided the downward trend doesn't continue. So you really need to be focused in the market today. I've been saying for 3 months now that you need to stay focused every day. Today isn't the first day I'm saying this. For 3 months, I've been telling you, this is the level, this is the zone you've been waiting for 4 years. The only one who hasn't taken action in all this is myself. Day and night, that's right.